You still sit on the throne. The crown is still on your head. The people still lower their eyes when you pass. Your voice still moves soldiers. Priests still bless your name in public. Trumpets still announce your entrance like heaven itself chose you. But heaven has gone silent. Not all at once, not with thunder, not with fire. It begins with small things. A pause that lingers too long, a prophet who no longer trembles before you, a prayer that seems to rise and never return, victories that feel hollow, music that no longer sounds like triumph, only noise. You tell yourself nothing has changed. You are still king, still chosen, still feared, still obeyed. But something invisible has shifted above your head. You can feel it in the room when no one speaks, in the way your servants hesitate, in the way your enemies suddenly look less afraid, in the way God no longer answers with warmth, only distance. And the worst part is this: no one has taken your throne. Not yet. Your hands still grip power. Your seal still closes decrees. Your army still carries your banner. But somewhere beyond the palace walls, while you are still wearing the crown, God has already chosen someone else. You wake before the sun rises, not because you must, but because sleep no longer holds you. Servants rush the moment you move. Water, robes, food, silence. They never look you in the eyes now. Once they did. Once there was admiration. Now there is calculation. You walk through your halls, stone beneath your feet, gold on your walls, power in every shadow. Everything still belongs to you. Generals wait for your command. Armies move when you speak. Nations still measure their fear by your decisions. You lift your hand, and men are sent to die. That hasn't changed. You sit on the throne again, higher than everyone, untouchable, unquestioned. At least that's what it looks like. But inside, something cracks. Not loud, not visible, just enough to notice. You hesitate before speaking. You repeat orders twice. You watch faces longer than before, searching. For what? Loyalty? Fear? Or confirmation that nothing is slipping? They still bow. They still kneel. But it feels different now. Like they're obeying the crown, not the man wearing it. And deep down, where no one sees, you know the truth you refuse to say. You still have power, but you are no longer chosen. Then, the moment comes. The prophet stands before you again. Small on the outside, fatal underneath. You wait for the prophet to speak the way he always has, with certainty, with oil, with the kind of words that make kings believe they are eternal. But this time, his face is heavy. No blessing, no reassurance, no warmth from heaven wrapped in human language. Only judgment. You hear the words, but they land like iron. You were commanded. You were warned. You were given a path, and you chose your own. You kept what should have been destroyed, spared what should not have been spared, protected your image while calling it obedience. You tell yourself it was wisdom, strategy, mercy. But even as the excuses rise, you know they are rotting in your mouth. The prophet does not argue with you. That is what makes it worse. He simply turns, and in that turn, everything changes. Not your throne, not your title, not your palace. You're standing before God. You reach for the robe, for the last thread of authority, for something to tear back what is leaving. but heaven is already withdrawing. And for the first time, you understand. A king can survive his enemies. A king can survive rebellion. A king can survive war. But not rejection from God. You search for signs. Not in public, never in public. There you are still untouchable, still the king, still the voice no one questions. But in private, you begin to look. Who is it? A general? A rival? Someone close enough to watch you fall? You study faces during council. Every pause feels suspicious. Every whisper feels like betrayal. You test loyalty. You repeat commands just to see who hesitates. You reward quickly, punish faster. Still, nothing. No one challenges you. No one rises. No one dares. And that's what terrifies you. Because if no one is fighting for the throne, then the threat is not visible. It's hidden. Chosen in silence, prepared in secret, growing somewhere far from your reach. Not in your palace, not in your army, not among the powerful. God doesn't replace kings the way men do. He doesn't announce it. He doesn't warn you twice. He chooses, quietly. Somewhere there is a boy who has never worn armor, never commanded men, never stood in your halls. But heaven has already moved toward him, and you can feel it. Not his name, not his face, just the certainty that your story is no longer the only one being written. You are still king, but you are no longer the future. It starts to consume you. Not all at once, not loud, just a thought that refuses to leave. Who is he? You hear laughter in distant rooms and wonder if it's about you. You see two men whisper, and your chest tightens. You notice a servant hesitate just for a second, and it feels like betrayal. You were never like this. You were decisive, unshaken, chosen. Now, you question everything. You send men to watch others. Then you send men to watch them too. No one is clean anymore. Not in your eyes. Music no longer calms you. It irritates you. Like something inside you is fighting to stay in control. You grip your spear tighter until your knuckles turn white, until the wood starts to creak under your hand. Your jaw locks without reason. Your thoughts turn sharp, then darker. Worried. Sleep abandons you completely. When it comes, it brings shadows. Dreams where the crown slips, where the throne is empty, where someone else stands where you should be. Angry. You wake up angry. At them. At yourself. At God. Because deep down, you know this isn't fear of losing power. It's worse. It's the realization that power was never truly yours to keep, and now, without warning, it's being taken away from you. Then you see him, not on a throne, not in armor, not surrounded by servants or banners. Just a young man, too young almost, too calm, too alive in a way that unsettles you immediately. He stands where he should not matter, and yet the room bends around him. People notice, not because he demands it, because something follows him. A presence, a quiet strength, the kind you cannot steal, train, or imitate. And suddenly, you know, not with proof, not with reason, with dread. This is the one. God didn't remove you. He replaced you while you were still king. The one heaven looked at while you were still calling yourself chosen. The one growing in obscurity while you sat in gold. The one who carries what has been leaving you piece by piece. You try to deny it. You watch him closer. You wait for weakness, for fear, for the crack that would make him ordinary. but it never comes. And what terrifies you most is not that he wants your throne. It's that he doesn't need to reach for it. God is bringing it to him. That is the moment the truth finally cuts through you. You are not fighting a rival. You are watching your replacement arrive. And for the first time, your crown feels heavy. Not like power, like a sentence. So you keep the throne. For now. You still wear the crown, still issue commands, still sit above everyone else as if nothing has changed. But now every victory feels borrowed, every cheer sounds late, every sunrise feels like one more day added to a sentence already written. Because you have seen him. And once you see him, you cannot unsee what God has decided. He does not need your palace. He does not need your army. He does not need your permission. He only needs time. That is what breaks you. Not the loss itself, the waiting. The slow humiliation of remaining king while knowing the future belongs to someone else. So you fight it.
With suspicion, with rage, with desperate attempts to hold what is already slipping through your hands. But the harder you grip, the clearer it becomes. The throne can stay beneath you and still no longer be yours. That is the cruelty of it. You are not removed in a single moment. You are made to watch your rejection unfold, piece by piece, day by day, breath by breath. You are still king, but heaven has already moved on. And somewhere in the distance, the man after God's heart is walking toward a crown you can still feel on your head. But it's no longer yours.